my band. All the little kiddies love the Dead Body Man.
What are the kids doing bumping my shit gonna be doing 20 years from now? They're gonna be complaining at their kids, hey, quit listening to that damn alien music. I hate that shit. Is that what you're gonna be saying? Ever since we collided with Pluto and Astro, you started playing that shit, and I hate that stuff. What happened to good music like Insane Clown Posse? That was good, healthy, wholesome music. This is rock and roll. Parents always hate rock and roll. It's in custom. If parents like rock and roll, it must suck.
On Hot 97.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ebro in the morning. I'm here with Rosenberg and legends on.
Hold on.
These dudes, all the way through the 90s, right? And it's 2017, and they have a festival that's the only way Insane Clown Posse.
Yes.
Give it up for Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah. Tyler J. Shaggy, too dope.
Check it out. Where you be?
Welcome to 20 and 17 right here on the Fago Lovers Network. I'm Brandon Ward, joining you as always. Can you believe it? 17 chapters about to be wrapped up already. It's flown by. I want to give a shout out to all the juggalos and juggalettes that's hit me up on social media at 20 and 17, on Twitter at 20 and 17, and on Instagram, and told me all the positive thoughts and positive vibes that they've picked up from the show. Really appreciate it. Also want to give a shout out to Scottie D and Roscoe from Fago Lovers for getting the word out to all the juggalos. But like I said, it's chapter 17 forever. What we're going to talk about tonight on the episode is the legacy of Insane Clown Posse. Pretty much brought it all the way up to modern day. We talked about Hollow Wicked. We talked about Fearless Fred Fury. We talked about the March. Talked about all the way up to current day. So today's episode's going to pretty much be a legacy episode for Insane Clown Posse and let you know just some of the achievements they've reached, because I think a lot of people sleep on the actual achievements they have and just look at ICP as kind of a joke. I know the mainstream always looks at ICP as a joke. And when you look at the accomplishments I'm about to list out that they've had in the music industry and the entertainment industry in general, there's no way that these guys shouldn't be eventually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That needs to be the next movement that gets started by the Juggalos, is to get them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because listen to these numbers. 14 studio albums, 16 compilation albums, 38 music videos, which grows monthly, 9 EPs, 44 singles, 2 platinum albums, 4 gold records, over 5 million LPs sold, debuted at number 4 on the Billboard Top 200 in 1999 with Amazing Jekyll Brothers, 10 years later with Bang Pow Boom, and once again 2 years later with the mighty Death Pop. Number 9 on the top 25 Billboard 200 album charts. They've debuted in the top 25 9 times. 4 number 1 independent Billboard chart debuts at number 1. 5 top Billboard rap chart debuts at number 1. Dark Lotus, Tales from the Lotus Pod, debuted number 1 Billboard U.S. Heat Chart. 24 Hollow Wicked singles, 4 Dark Lotus albums, 7 Rida albums, a Super Villains album, Killjoy Club album, 12-part Pendulum comic releases, WWF The Music Volume 3, which was platinum or multi-platinum, WCW The Mayhem, The Music, which was, I believe, was platinum as well, appearance on the Great White Hype soundtrack with Chicken Huntin', the Fear soundtrack with Dead Body Man, Heavy Metal 2000 with Dirtball. They've worked with multi-platinum artists such as Kid Rock, Slash, Alice Cooper, Sex Pistols, Snoop Dogg, ODB, Ice-T, 3-6 Mafia, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Vanilla Ice, Fred Durst, Jack White, and Cheap Trick. They've appeared in every major wrestling federation you can name. ECW, WWF, where they debuted in Madison Square Garden, WCW, TNA, XPW, Ring of Honor, and countless others. They run their own JCW promotion, which was at one time the number 2 most successful wrestling company on the planet, only behind the WWF/WWE. Moving on to some radio appearances, Howard Stern, Man Cow, Bubba the Love Sponge, The Sam Roberts Show, Sway, Hot 97, and Loveline, just to name a few. They've appeared on national syndicated television shows such as The O'Reilly Factor, CNN, Nightline, Saturday Night Live, The George Lopez Show, Jeopardy, The Simpsons, cover of WWF Magazine, the cover of AP Magazine, the cover of Murder Dog Magazine, the cover of Circus Magazine. They've appeared in featured articles in Penthouse, Rolling Stone, Spin, and countless others. They rocked an estimated 250,000 people at Woodstock 99. They've had 24 annual Hallowicked clown shows and 18 annual Gathering of the Juggalos. They've appeared in movies such as Big Money Hustlers, Big Money Rustlers, and Death Races. That is more than a mouthful, Juggalos, and I'm about to run out of breath, and I'm dizzy just from running down those accomplishments. If you look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not throwing any shade at any particular band, but you'll find bands that have a quarter of that resume that have somehow snuck into the Hall of Fame, yet you can't open up any kind of rock and roll encyclopedia book where any one-hit wonder from the past 90 years is in and find any kind of article about Insane Clown Posse. That's the next shit that's got to change. We got the FBI shit handled as much as we can. With the Juggalo March, we went out there and showed the whole world that Juggalos are nothing to be made fun of or to be feared. The next thing to do is get Violent J and Shaggy and Mikey Clark the props they deserve and get them in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame eventually. And what I'll do now is get into some actual sounds that I have that'll even solidify the case even more. Like I talked about, they were on Saturday Night Live. There was another TV show around whenever ICP first initially started blowing up, called Mad TV, and they actually made an appearance on Mad TV.
Behind the Music continues. Jasmine, this is Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J, but you might know them better as the Insane Clown Posse. Welcome.
Hello,
What's
Mr. Insane.
Welcome.
Mr. Clown Posse.
I gotta ask right now. What the is that on your head?
Okay, if you're referring to my hair.
Yeah, what you need to do, man, is keep them little nappy tight ones in your pants, dog.
That's very funny. That's a good one. That's a good one. You guys are funny. What?
I think they're right. It does look like...
No, it doesn't. You're just saying that because...
Yeah, it does.
Please don't. Please stop. Okay?
You know something? Sometimes I swear it smells like urine.
Okay.
You are the love of my life. You are the love of my life.
You are the love of my life. The love of my life, girl. The love of my life. The love of my life.
You are the love of my life.
The love of my life. What?
Oh, that's very expensive.
You are the love of my life.
His life.
We'll return to Behind the Music.
There you hear Insane Clown Posse's appearance on Mad TV, so pretty much knocked out an appearance on Mad TV early on, and then they had a parody done about the Miracles video on Saturday Night Live, pretty much knocked out the Saturday Night Late Night comedy. And speaking about comedy, how about some Cartoon Network, Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Mr. Too Dope, perhaps you would care to read for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the lyrics from your popular song, Blacken Your Eyes.
Filled your head with lead because I want you dead. Girly, girly bitch, you freaky, freaky bitch.
What could possibly be offensive about that? No, I mean, that's deplorable. Your songs drove my client's roommate to kill himself. Would that be an accurate statement?
Allow me to interject, please. We at Insane Clown Posse are very, very active in the community. We work with a number of local charities. Yeah, like we read to dead people. Sammy the Gerbil and his Muffin Adventure. We also spit fire.
No further question.
And there you hear ICP's appearance on Aqua Teen Hunger Force as the Wicked Clowns just kept making appearance after appearance on pop culture phenomenon shows. And just even to pair that up even more, they get two references right here. They make an appearance, or not only we as Juggalos and ICP make an appearance on The Soup from E! Entertainment and Jeopardy, all in the same clip. Check it out.
And I think we may have finally found the one man in America who doesn't like the Insane Clown Posse. I mean, he really doesn't like them.
Clown for 2,000, please.
The followers of the musical duo known by this crazy band name are called Juggalos. Tom.
What's the Insane Clown Posse?
Yes.
He's really had it in for them ever since he was kicked out of the group. I was the violent trivia expert. How come no one appreciates my ability to rap hardcore in the form of a question? It's reality show clip time.
And there you hear ICP being referenced on Jeopardy and The Soup, as whenever the guy answered the question on Jeopardy, he had just a very smug look on his face. If you were wondering what they were laughing about, he looked like he was not very happy to be the one that said Insane Clown Posse on Jeopardy, and kind of let everybody know that he knew what was going on a little bit in the Juggalo world. He looked very not thrilled to say Insane Clown Posse on Jeopardy, but we'll keep it moving on now to another epic appearance from ICP and Twisted on this one. They actually appeared on a poster during a segment of The Simpsons show where they were talking about different types of music.
We gotta go to the ultimate expert on urban culture, a white nerd. So in South Central Springfield in the 90s, there were 4 major hip-hop subscenes. The Good Time Mafia, Licorice Avenue, the Dirty Dirty North, and the FLTA, the Fine Ladies Thug Army.
And when they're talking about the all the different cliques, there's a very obvious picture of Twisted on the poster, and there's a very obvious picture of ICP from Hell's Pit, Wraith era. They also had already been mentioned. The Gathering had been mentioned on The Simpsons, which I've already played on this 20 and 17 series going on right now, but we'll keep the 17 and going. And moving on to another epic appearance. Well, it wasn't really an epic appearance. It was something more inspired by ICP and the Juggalos. It was a huge sensation on YouTube a few years back. It was very well done by a group of comedians on YouTube that has their own channel. It was called Juggalo News. Check it out.
Tonight, can the Democrats recover after losing their supermajority? Plus, Violent J invites haters to suck his balls. Juggalo News starts right now. Hello everybody, welcome to Juggalo News, the only news source specifically for fans of Insane Clown Posse. I'm Crazy Thug Nuts. With the Obama administration struggling to pass health care and campaign finance legislation, what do they need to do to smoke the Republicans' asses? Joining us now from Cave in Rock, Illinois, frequent Juggalo News contributor, Murder Bitch.
Good to be here.
And from Washington, noted serial killer and author, Fats Cockstrangler.
What up?
Now, Fats, during the campaign, Obama promised mad reform up in this bitch. What is preventing him from bringing the mayhem?
Well, we're in a wicked divisive political climate right now. We're in a fucking recession, 2 wars. No president has inherited this much shit since FD motherfucking R. He's on very shaky political ground.
To his credit, I think the president is doing the best that he can to reach across the aisle, but the Republicans understandably have beef with him because he'd be running up in their shit.
I'd like to read something here. This is a statement made by Crunt in the latest issue of Thugs Week. Quote, Obama thinks he on some dark carnival shit, but he a Ned hole for real. He best step the fuck off before he gets smacked in the nugs. Now, whether or not you agree with this statement, it does indicate an increasing backlash against the president.
Well, these are very real concerns. Obama needs to prove that he's not a pussy ass. He needs to step up to Congress and say, this legislation goes through, or I've got a hatchet with your dick's name on it.
All right, we're going to take a quick motherfucking commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back and shit.
This week, Boner Punch opens up to Vanessa.
I want to spend the rest of my motherfucking life with you.
But Vanessa has a shocking secret for Gun Butt.
I'm pregnant. And it's yours.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Shit's Fucked Up Hospital. Weekdays on IC Soap.
And we're back. Potential challengers are already lining up to face President Obama in the 2012 race, including Republican Sarah Palin and psychocrat Dr. Hercules B. Pussyfiend. What steps does the president need to take to ensure his reelection?
I think he needs to shift his focus to issues that matter to regular tax-paying ninjas out there, like preventing Faygo shortages and placing tougher restrictions on suckaism.
Murder bitch?
Honestly, I don't think he has much of a chance. In 2012, Doc Pussyfiend is going to drop a bomb load of serial clown madness on Washington till their ears shit their pants.
Well, either way, it's going to be a wicked historic race popping off. Fats, Murder Bitch, thank you both for being here.
It's cool, brah.
Fucking pleasure.
And thank you for watching Juggalo News on the Insane Clown News Network, the proud new home of Glenn Beck. He's up next. Thank you for joining us.
And there you hear the Juggalo News segment that I was talking about they did on YouTube. It was very well done. There had to be some kind of Juggalo involved in it a little bit, or a former Juggalo, because there was a lot of very smart references. I enjoy the parodies. If you do it well, if you make the comedy well and it's funny, I'll laugh at it, man. You gotta have a sense of humor about things. If you're still making magnet jokes in 2017, however, you probably need to find some new material, because that's pretty played out and pretty stale. But like I said, the Saturday Night Live parody of the Miracles video was fucking epic. I loved it. And the Juggalo News thing I just played right there, it was so well done, man. Even as a Juggalo, you had to sit back and laugh at how well it was done. But what we'll do now is move it on to the final thing I have about big moments that I have sound clips for. One of the most infamous things that the boys still even get asked about today. I've seen interviews for the Juggalo March here recently, where they were doing worldwide media press tours, and they always get asked about Eminem, so you got to bring up the Eminem versus ICP beef, and I had a sound clip I've been waiting to play for this very moment.
If this was Eminem, what I'd probably do is go straight for the jugular.
Still waiting for their own shot at Eminem, they claim are the novelty rap duo Insane Clown Posse, whose long-standing feud with Eminem heated up after he had some very rude words for them on his Marshall Mathers LP and on the Up in Smoke tour.
The beef about us is not true. It is all good between us and ICP.
I challenge Eminem. Next time MTV has one of the sports shows, put me and you in a boxing ring. I'll knock you the fuck out. I'll take you in a squared octagon. You know what I'm saying? How about that? I'll knock that Brian Caesar off his head. That would probably be the end of the whole problem right there.
This feud escalated beyond blow-up dolls when Eminem allegedly pulled an unloaded gun on an Insane Clown Posse employee outside a Detroit car audio store in June of 2000.
He dropped it all over the floor. The gun didn't even have water in it. No, it was empty.
As funny as the clowns may have found the incident, Eminem himself was hit with serious weapons possession charges and faces real jail time if convicted.
There you hear some of the commentary on MTV, Mr. Kurt Scrotum, as they like to call him. Kurt Loder talking about ICP and the Eminem beef on MTV. But as things tend to be working out these days for the 17 and people, it came full circle from the beef with Eminem all the way to Eminem helping out with making a little bit of shine towards the Juggalo March whenever they were trying to get people aboard on the Juggalo March. Where did ICP appear at? But on Shady Sirius Radio.
This is Sway. 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 In the morning. In the morning. In the morning. Shake it. Wake your fuck ass up. Then crust out your eyes.
Oh, Sway in the morning, Shade 405. So who does this belong to? This is a monumental day here at Shade 405. This is a milestone that's taking place right here. We got a group of individuals here that have been stumping and making their mark since the early 90s. When they first came out on the scene and created this movement that on the West Coast, we wasn't quite sure what it was all about. We used to, you know, we knew it was a lot of ruckus. You know, it felt like a lot of chaos and a lot of anxiety,
right.
You know, and it just seemed like a group that really had a lot on their chest and wanted to get it off. And one thing that was unique about them, similar to my good friend Tech Nine, who is friends with them as well.
Tech Nine?
Y'all still friends, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's the garb and their presentation and how they came out on the scene with makeup on and faces of clowns and what was the significance of that. And they're going on to do a whole lot of great things. Most recently, the Juggalo March that's taking place in Washington. That's this weekend, right?
Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Welcome them to the show for the first time, ICP, a.k.a. Insane Clown Posse!
I can't believe we're here.
I cannot believe it.
This feels good. It feels good for real, man.
Yeah, man. Finally, Jay is here. What up, man?
What up, though, man?
How
This
you
is an honor. This is a privilege. You know what I'm saying? Shady 45, Sway. You know, shout out to Eminem. You know, Detroit. Well, worldwide iconic. Michael Jackson's stature.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's
But
awesome.
back down to Detroit.
Back down. Right.
Right. You know, and it's been a long road, man, and we're proud to be here. We're very, very thankful and gracious to be here, man.
Yeah, man.
It feels good, man.
Shaggy, good to have you on the show too, brother.
Thank you, man.
You know, the whole Eminem thing, we might it's over. It's old, but we never discussed it. Everybody knows.
The best way to describe it is high school beef.
High school beef, yeah.
We're so grown now. It's like, who gives a fuck about that?
Yeah, that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, it got pretty serious back then in Detroit. You know what I mean? With our camps, I think more so than maybe us as individuals.
Yeah,
our camps. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, something really cool happened that officially ended all of that for us.
Okay, what was
like,
that?
Without question. You know, something really cool happened, and that was the year Proof passed away. You know, and it was so epic for us because Proof was on like a mission sort of where he was squashing all of M's old beefs and things like that. You know, when M came out, he was wild style. You know, name dropping everybody and you know, and he had a lot of beefs that were still like either still existing or weren't closed down yet or whatever. You know, and for Proof to reach out to us, we've never had very much respect. Our shit is so different.
Yeah,
we can understand that. You know what I mean? We're not stupid. We know this is a far off sort of thing. People don't understand it. People don't like what they don't understand. That's always been like that, you know. And but for Proof to include us in his endeavors of trying to kill old beefs and to consider us something worth squashing and not saying fuck them all around. Who cares what happens with them? Let's go to all these other people that are relevant in the, you know, and have respect in the industry. For him to want to include us and take the time to come to our office and kick it with us, and we had a bowling match. We had a bowling match. It was D12 versus ICP.
Who won, dude?
I don't even remember, man. We were all,
I never really finished.
Okay, cool.
We were all sorry,
don't worry about it.
We were all drinking, and we were at this place called
Magic Stick.
Yeah, the Magic Stick. And we had it was fun, man. We were doing kung fu moves and bowling, and then we went to St. Andrews and chopped it up with Proof all night, and it was really like those 2 days we spent with Proof were like we made sure before he came the first day we said, look, nobody ask if M knows he's here because Proof coming is plenty.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter that like Proof coming is it doesn't matter if M knows that because we assumed he eventually would know.
Yeah, so
it doesn't matter. This is respect enough for us to have Proof come out here and come to us. Come to our office, and he spit a verse on one of our groups at the time, Twisted. He spit a verse on the record, and you know, and in the time we spent with him those 2 days, it's hard not to feel like we were super close, you know, after that because it meant that much to us. You know what I'm saying? Like to have him include us in that. We knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
We heard about it, but to include us and to receive that phone call felt so good that we felt very close to him, and we weren't. I didn't know Proof. I didn't know M.
Yeah.
We didn't know them guys.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't part of that scene.
We came up a whole different way than they did. You know what I'm saying? The scene back in the day.
What was your way? You know, like what did this mean then? You know, with the makeup and the presentation.
Like, no disrespect to nobody, and please don't take it that way.
Yeah.
But we put in like groundwork. You know what I'm saying? We put in like business work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We instantly went the route of selling records, pressing them up and selling them, promoting them instead of like crafting our
going
style,
to stores
freestyling.
over and over. Yeah, we were never a part of like, you know, the hip hop shop back then in Detroit
Or
where
the
you know,
battles
everybody
at
gets
the
together
shelter.
freestyles and you know
we were flying our CD in stores. You know, we were like, let's just go right to proving we can sell records and try taking that route instead of like you know, proving we can rap and getting discovered. We never tried to get discovered.
Right. Yeah.
We tried to just start up the mountain. It's a long fucking walk, but if you don't look back, you know what I'm saying, you just keep walking, eventually you'll get up that motherfucker, man.
And there you hear ICP on an epic appearance for Sway in the Morning on Shady Sirius Radio, pretty much bringing that full circle. Can't get any more 17 than that, than squashing some beef with an old rival and him ending up helping you out on your mission to get the word out about the Juggalo March. But that's pretty much going to wrap up the sound clip portion of the show that I have for epic moments in Insane Clown Posse history. What I'm going to do now is get into the actual top 17 favorite ICP tracks of all time. That's my list that's coming up here. Not saying this is a definitive list or that I went and did any kind of poll to find out what the official tally was. This is my own personal list, and we're going to start it off. Track number 17, The Only Thing That Could be track number 17, in my opinion, Thigh Unveiling.
Carnage. The Ringmaster. The Riddle Box. The Great Malenko. The Amazing Jekyll Brothers. And the Wraith. Looks like we're all out of time, brother.
Everybody's out of time.
Fuck it. We got to tell. All secrets would now be told. No more hidden messages. This is it, y'all. Time's up. Everything will be out right here. No need for the reverse talking. The truth.
And there you hear the intro to Thigh Unveiling. It's going to be my 17th favorite Insane Clown Posse track of all time. It wrapped up the entire epic mythology of the first 6 Joker's cards. It wrapped everything all up. It dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's, answered all the questions that us juggalos had been wondering for years and years. I love the message of it. I thought it was great. I didn't have a problem with it at all. I know a lot of juggalos didn't like the message in this song. I had no problem with it whatsoever. So I'm going to play it loud and love it.
We don't preach it flat out, cause some ninjas don't wanna get with you. They quick to forget you without the hatchet and get out. So we pose the hatchet, do or die. Now juggalos standing tall. After all, 6 have risen. The end of time will consume us all. It ain't got nothing to do with us. It ain't psychopathic records. All we're doing is pointing shit out to you. We in this together. Who's behind the Dark Carnival, the gatherings and the hatchet? Who's behind Dark Lotus, the circus and everybody at it? Who invented juggalos and juggalettes and fucking Fago showers? What about that feeling you get when pumping our shit? Who's behind the juggalo powers? This ain't no fucking fan club. It ain't about making a buck. Don't buy our fucking action figures, bitch. I don't give a fuck. It ain't about Violent J or Shaggy the Butterfly or 17. When we speak of Shangri-La, what you think we mean? Truth is we follow God. We've always been behind him. The carnival has got it made. May the juggalos find
And there you hear the message from the mighty Sick Joker's card that the carnival is God. I love the message behind it. I thought it was awesome. No beef in it whatsoever. But what we'll do now is move it on from Thigh Unveiling into the next one, which will check in at number 16 on the list. And you're going to find out that I dig the end of the album stuff that they play. And definitely one that I definitely always loved as soon as I heard it. Nothing's Left from the Amazing Jekyll Brothers, checking in at number 16.
Man, I love you guys, man. Man, shut the fuck up, man. Why you always gotta ruin the moment? Fuck you.
never lied. There's no rumor that ain't been passed. Ain't no question that no one's asked. There's no tree that won't get chopped. There's no bomb that won't get dropped. Ain't no path that no one's laid. Ain't no beast that ain't been afraid. There's no feat that no one can. There's no saga that never began. Ain't no snow that didn't melt. There's no punch that ain't been felt. There's no skill that no one's learned. There's no planet that he ain't turned. There's no view that never dissolved. There's no problem that ain't been solved. There's no tale that no one's told. There's no beauty that won't get old. There's no garden the sun ain't beamed on. There's no shoulder that ain't been leaned on. There's no color that ain't been seen. Purple, yellow, forest green. There's no desert that ain't seen rain. Nobody here that ain't felt pain. There's no bigot that ain't been clowned. There's no treasure that I ain't found. Ain't no cave they never explored. Ain't no mother that ain't been ignored. There's no leader that ain't been led. There's no blood that ain't been shed. There's no dish they never made. Ain't no brick they never laid. Everything left's been done before. Nothing's new, nowhere to explore. On the day when the wagons come, I just pray that you let me out. On the day when the wagons come, I just pray that you let me out. On the day when the wagons come, I just pray that you let me out. On the day when the wagons come, I just pray, I just pray. On the day when the wagons come.
And there you hear Nothing's Left, the final track from the amazing Jekyll Brothers. Love that track. Obviously, it's checking in the number 16 spot on my top 17 favorite Insane Clown Posse tracks of all time. I thought it fit awesome with the amazing Jekyll Brothers. That amazing Jekyll Brothers album was just like a punch in the face, an audio punch in the face the entire time. Had a lot of energy behind it, a lot of wicked rhymes behind it, a lot of violence in the lyrics. And then to cap it off with a song like Nothing's Left just shows the range of ICP. I love the song. It also was a very fitting kind of run into where the Wraith Shangri-La was going to start in. If you listen to the song Nothing's Left, you can see very easily going from that song into the first song on Shangri-La. So we'll move it on now from what wrapped up amazing Jekyll Brothers into a song that kind of brought on a new era for Juggalos. It's going to be number 15.
Yo, face! Something special! Something special for you and your face! Bitch! Go get 'em, boys! In your face! Something special! Exclusive! For you! Something exclusive!
A pop out the box, swing on a spring. Big Violent J with the axe out. Trouble we bring, a juggalo thing. Wicked clown with the boom pow bang. In your face, through the glass as the fireworks blast. Shaggy the clown hit a murder some ass. I been a strangler, no coast to coast, and I turn any thug into a ghost. In your face, juggalo only when it's convenient, and no they don't mean it. We sick of being lenient. Step your ass back before the hatchet attacks, and you catch a few hacks from the axe. I crawl like a tarantula on my toes and thumbs. Born to the carnies, gypsies and bums. I spit my raps and tongues over voodoo drums. Bitch, wicked shit this way comes. In your face.
For you, something special for you. We got you covered, homie. Something exclusive for you.
And there you hear In Your Face from Bang Pow Boom. I think that song pretty much lets you know that the Wicked Clowns and Mikey Clark, the Dark Carnival, was back in full effect. If you went to the 2009 gathering of the Juggalos and you heard the sampler, you could pick up signs of it. You could feel the magic coming through that album. But once you actually was able to pick up Bang Pow Boom on September 1st, 2009, you put the album in, and depending on which color you got, you had the second track, and then on every album, track 3, In Your Face. That's the track that whenever it came out and people that I knew that were Juggalos back in the day that had fallen off, I went to them and made sure they heard In Your Face, and a lot of them immediately got back into ICP. They were like, oh shit, this sounds like that old school Wicked Clowns shit that I loved back in the day. Got them into Bang Pow Boom. The Wicked Clowns have been off and running with the second deck ever since. Mikey Clark, of course, was back on the track, which you can't get better than that, in my opinion, is Mikey Clark being on a track and doing the production on the track. I think that takes the Wicked Clowns from level 10 awesome to Spinal Tap 11. 11. But what we'll do right now is move it on from In Your Face at number 15 into the first non-Joker card song to make an appearance. And it was also because what it did is let you know that Bang Pow Boom, or whatever the next album after The Tempest was about to be off the hook, because it was the final track of Tempest. It was called If I Was a Serial Killer.
If I was a serial killer, they would find all my victims' heads in funky-ass gas station toilets. And if I was a serial killer, I would be strange and deranged, and I would never change. If I was a serial killer, I'd be known as the smoker, 'cause I would cut off and smoke all of their hair. And if I was a serial killer, I would sleep on broken glass and thumbtacks, and I would smoke mad crack. First thing I would do would be to kill a couple hotties that always gets them all stirred up, decapitated bodies dumped on state police lawn just before dawn, to let them know my ritual had begun. I crack a 40 with the devil, tell him dig me a hole, 'cause I'm coming when I die, until that I'm in control. This is if I was a serial killer, and though I ain't, but if I was, I'd do my walls of blood red with blood paint. This is if I was a serial killer, and though I ain't, but if I was, I'd never stop, because I know that I can't. If I was a serial killer, I would drive a black van, and I would ride around the college campus. And if I was a serial killer, I would walk among us and gain trust until I needed that rub. I park outside these bitches' homes.
And there you hear If I Was a Serial Killer, the final track from The Tempest. I thought this track was awesome. It really lets you know that the Wicked Clowns was about to drop some old school wickedness on all of us juggalos. That song, whenever it ended, you just wanted immediately to be able to turn on another ICP album and see what the hell it was going to sound like, because you could tell that, especially once you found out that the Dark Carnival was going to come back into play, you was like, all right, we got ICP, we got Mikey Clark, we got the Wicked shit, and we got the Dark Carnival all coming together. Hell yeah, I'm in on that. Sign me up for that any day. I'm taking that for sure. Mikey Clark, Insane Clown Posse, and the Dark Carnival. That's magic to me. Move it on from the number 14 spot on the list into number 13, back on to the Joker card trail, as this one's going to be one that they traditionally open up concerts with. So it probably holds a dear spot in every Juggalo's heart, because more than likely you've seen it numerous times on any concert you've been to.
Check it out, man! ICP back in the high, man! Molly J, man! New dope, man! Wicked Clown, man! Hurry up, bang! Open your mouth, 'cause here comes my wang. I'm Violent J, the Southwest schizo, born in a big top magic on my disco, dead body disco, rapping to the
And there you hear The Show Must Go On, one of the all-time classics from the Wicked Clown off of the Riddle Box album. And like I said, it's one that's got to be near and dear to many of a Juggalo's heart, because more than likely it's one that you've seen them do in concert every time you've seen them do a Wicked Clown show performance in your city. And so that obviously makes that song awesome if it wasn't already awesome enough just from the sounds of it. Always instant energy as soon as the song comes on. I've definitely had to have it in my top 17, and that's why it's going to check in at number 13 on the list. And we'll move it up now from number 13 on to number 12 on the list from the first ever Joker's card. It's going to be Juggler.
Well, you know the juggler jumped in the mix. I've been down the road and I broke a few necks and I break a few mouths. So what's up? Roll by me in the corner, I'ma hold my nuts up. It's been a fuck you with that. But if you're to escape, let me hit that. Good Violent J ain't even one to fake it. I done seen some folded up skate bitches make it. I pass out when it gets dark. It woke up naked in the Clark Park. Gotta go, gotta get before I get the rap. Got a chopped off head chilling in my lap. Mr. Shrink, I'm sick. Lunatic, tick-tock, it don't quit. It don't quit, it don't quit. Mr. Shrink, I'm sick. A lunatic, he tick. The doctor told me I'm a psycho, so I ate his face like I don't know. Knife to the neck and I got some up. The night of the axe, the night of the 44. Bitch, I'm a man you can talk to, but after you leave, I'ma stalk ya. If you're a little kid, I'ma take ya. And if you're a neck, I'ma break ya. If you're an old lady, I'ma mud ya. Cause bitch, you can't fuck with the juggler.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he is the juggler. He'll cut your windpipe, eat your face, and slit your motherfucking heart out. You can see this freak show at the world famous Carnival of Carnage. Keep juggling, motherfucker.
And there you hear The Juggler from Carnival of Carnage. The word juggalo eventually came from this song. It was the first time you really heard the carnival beat used a lot. It was the first time on Carnival of Carnage, and pretty much the main force on Carnival of Carnage that lets you know of the Wicked Clown sound that was going to come as they were just getting into it with Carnival of Carnage. They started locking it in at Ringmaster, and then I do believe by the time Riddlebox came out, they had that clown shit locked down 100%. And the Juggler was the first one that did that for any Insane Clown Posse song, in my opinion, that really lets you know the greatness of the Dark Carnival and what was to come. But we'll move it on from number 12, The Juggler, onto one that another non-Joker card. It's going to be The Stalker. And there you hear The Stalker from Beverly Hills 50187. That's definitely one of my all-time favorite albums by ICP. I think it gets slept on a lot because it was a sideshow and not a main Joker card, but that entire album's fire. It's the first time that Shaggy was really heard do it, his classic yelling along with Violent J doing the raps. I love this song. It put it together very well. I could have picked any of the songs off of Beverly Hills to put at the 11th spot. I went with The Stalker because that was the one that I heard in concert, so immediately connected to it whenever I heard it in concert. So I immediately connected to it through a concert experience, which always really just drives those songs home whenever you see them live. Moving on now from number 11 into number 10. Another song that doesn't get done a lot live, surprisingly, because I think it would be a super awesome song. It's another non-Joker card song. It's Take Me Away from Bizarre.
Welcome to the Dark Carnival. Shaking too dope. The Insane Clown Posse. We'll live forever. Join us. Without the beard, I'm trying to spread the facts that I know for sure. Yet many don't believe in our carnival freak show. It's alright though, there's enough who do, and only time will tell if our stories are true. But for everybody here, I can promise you this: you'll never hear us rap about the typical bullshit. And then all the money they got, all the ice they wear, and all the people they shot, all the freaks they pull, and all the cars they drive. Only we rap about fucking a beehive. You wanna keep it real? Walk out your door. That's as real as it gets from the sky to the floor. But the Dark Carnival will take your soul away and give you mythical adventure in a magical way that I live.
I definitely think Bizarre is another one of those albums that gets slept on because it's not a Joker card. So that's why Take Me Away is checking in at number 10. Speaking of number 10, I do a podcast called The Perfect 10 Podcast, very similar to this Insane Clown Posse podcast. If you like it, I kind of talk about things and then play a clip. So I brought in my co-host from The Perfect 10 Podcast, Mr. Ryan Rogers, joining me on the program.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
He's pretty good at counting down top 10s with me. It's what we do every week on the Perfect 10 podcast. If you want to check that out, go to homersradio.com, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast from, and just search HRN or Homers Radio. There's a huge selection of them. We got about 20 of them out there. Also, we got a Tracy Smothers show. If you like Tracy Smothers from JCW, we do a show very similar to the Brother Love podcast. If you like that, we do a show like that called The School of Smothers with Tracy Smothers. We're going to get into the top 10 as I've already debuted Take Me Away. I know you were already bumping some Take Me Away whenever I first met you, so you'd known that you weren't sleeping on Bizarre.
I remember walking to Target and buying the first Bizarre CD whenever, or both Bizarre CDs, I guess, whenever they first came out. It was, classic. I mean, that was when I first jumped on board.
So you definitely weren't sleeping on him. You've been aware of this song for 17 years since it's been out as well. Take Me Away, like I said, I think it should be one that gets played in the live sets more. I haven't heard it a lot live, and I think that just the chorus and the way the Juggalos could be chanting away the carnival and things like that, I think it would be a great live song. They need to break it out a little bit more often, but we'll move it on now into an era that you know pretty well as it's the first era that you actually start to hear Insane Clown Posse from. It's the amazing Jekyll Brothers era. Checking in at number 9 is going to be Assassins.
You know who you fucking with? Big clowns! You know who you fucking with? Yeah. I saw this man, he was covered, he was blind, I snatched his jewelry and ran. I caught up with Nate and said I think it's worth $1,000. He smiled, then he giggled, then he shook my hand. The jam was going down, I need the money, so I'm giddy. The fucking steak was cool, all they gave us $7.50. My mama threw me out, I called my sister a whore. Now my house is abandoned, my bed is the floor. It's been a week I haven't eaten, I'm starving, I crawl. So my catch a miscellaneous up at Wellington Mall. I broke into a Datsun and jumped in the back and waited for the bitch to put my shank to her neck. She offered her car keys, cried and said please. She promised not to tell and give me A's and B's. I said I want your money, bitch, and all I can sell. Now I looked into her eyes and she was scared as hell. I knew she was a snitch, so I cut off her tongue. Got happy with the trigger, now I'm on the run.
And there you hear Assassins checking in at number 9 on the countdown. Like I said, it was whenever you first jumped on the Amazing Jekyll Brothers era. It was the first era I got to experience fully throughout, from the anticipation on up to the release. I remember the release date and just waiting for it. The release date kept getting pushed back, and there wasn't a lot of internet around at the time, so the first time I even seen their look and when Shaggy had shaved the dreadlocks off was whenever they put an advertisement for Amazing Jekyll Brothers out in High Times magazine. So even back then, at the 5th Joker Cards era, there was still a lot of mystery around. And then whenever you get into the Amazing Jekyll Brothers, I think this song pretty much sums up the Amazing Jekyll Brothers. So I was going to pick one track from that album. Just the intensity that it brings, the lyrics. I like the way that both of their voice sounds. It sound like they it's got that old school Wicked Clown sound to it. It doesn't have the new modern day era. It's very old school sounding. I really dig it. And also they got to pay respects to some of the godfathers of the Wicked shit. The Ghetto Boys. This is of course the Ghetto Boys song. Got anything to add about this one?
Oh yeah, well I mean this obviously it's a classic. Like you mentioned earlier, Jekyll Brothers is kind of like the era whenever I first kind of jumped into it. I remember my brother had the Forgotten Freshness Volume 2 and the Jekyll Brothers CDs, and those were the first, that's where I first got my first taste. And this song in particular, I was a metal kid, so, and I mean, of course I got love for classic hip hop and I listened to Bone and all that stuff, but
Wu-Tang,
can't forget about Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
I mean, like this was just kind of like this is kind of almost what sold it, because this was like the perfect amalgam of kind of like that rock and roll kind of metal vibe that you also get that Wicked rap. And it's like, I mean, classic.
Yeah, I think it's the perfect song to express the Amazing Jekyll Brothers and how awesome it was. And like you said, and the Amazing Jekyll Brothers is kind of known as the most rock album. Yeah. And like you said, it kind of sums up, and I think it caught a lot of the attention of the new metal kids. Whenever they heard that, the guys that were bumping Korn and Limp Bizkit and Disturbed and Slipknot, I think a lot of those kids, whenever they heard Assassins, were kind of down with the clown a little bit whenever they heard it. You talked about Forgotten Freshness Volume 2 and 3, or Volume 1 and 2. Yeah. Whenever you first heard it, and that's one of my favorite songs of all times came off that. It's another song that's not on a Joker card, so if you're sleeping on albums that aren't Joker cards, just thinking that they're just throwaway albums because they're not Joker cards, you can see from this countdown that I'm a huge ICP fan, and a lot of this of my top 17 doesn't even come from Joker cards. So definitely don't sleep on the Joker cards, and don't sleep on this song from Forgotten Freshness Volume 1 and 2. It's Mental Warp.
My body I can keep reaching just above me. I see my pillows there, but yet I have no head. My head is on the chair. I'm staring at my body. I look as if I'm weak, so give me back my soul. My body you can keep. Sitting on the lawn, it's just before dawn. I listen to the screaming, another life is gone. I'm playing with the children of the pit. My mother says they're evil, my daddy gives a shit.
And there you hear Mental Warp, one of my all-time favorites. Even just hearing it right there, I think I might have listed it too low. That song just, it's the epitome of what the Wicked Clown sound is. It captures that Riddle Box to early Malenko era just perfectly. If you remember, it came out on the Tunnel of Love XXX before it was available on Forgotten Freshness. So it came out from that era. If you remember, they put out, right before they signed their record contract with, I believe it was Hollywood, they put out Tunnel of Love independently on their own on Psychopathic, just being smart businessmen like they are, so they could get another record out on their own right before they jumped on the big label and popped off nationwide. They put out Tunnel of Love, and it also had the XXX version, and Mental Warp was the bonus track if you bought the XXX version. And if you paid out the extra cheese to get the XXX version, you got rewarded very well, because Mental Warp, like I said, one of my all-time favorite songs by Insane Clown Posse. It just sounds like Insane Clown Posse from that era to me.
Classic Wicked. Like, I mean, it's like...
It's Amy in the Attic style Wicked.
It's like horror movie style Wicked. Like, you know, it's like almost in the vein of 12 or something. Like, just, I don't know, true, like, horror Wicked.
One of those classics from that era, like 12, which, spoiler alert, still to come up on the list, as we're talking about Mental Warp. As I said, that's really whenever you first started to hear that ICP was getting into that era that's just the classic era, the Riddle Box, Malenko, Jekyll Brother eras that so many juggalos look back on so fondly, and what that'll do. Bring us in to what really told us what was going to be the sound of ICP moving from the first Joker card. If you remember down at the 12 spot, I talked about the Juggler, how it kind of let us know what ICP was going to sound like going forward, because it was the most clown-like song on there. I said that the Juggler let us know what was to come, and whenever you popped in the Ringmaster, you heard this song take off, and you knew what to come was some pretty wicked shit.
Try to be slick, but you ain't no slink. Do you brink? Do you think? Do you suck my Twinkie? I don't give a fuck if you call me a clown. Break it on down. It's murder go round. What you dishing out, I catch it comes back to ya. If you're trying to creep, I hate to say I never knew ya. Once upon a time in a ghetto zone, a 10-foot lead pipe slapped up my dome. I'm laying in the street with blood oozing out my head. Excuse me, motherfucker, was it something I said? Forks up, forks down, man, forks sideways. Then he grabbed my finger when he said, crime pays. Swung on his plate once again for the road. Hold off, dog, this shit gets old. Now I walk the streets with a shattered skull. I'm gonna swing my axe to his jaw. What a motherfucker at, what a motherfucker say. How you gonna fuck with the juggler, J-A-A? There he's at, so I knock on the door. Pops opened up, pops hit the floor. Then I chop, pops twice in his nugget. But he didn't do shit, fuck it. It's the murder go round.
And there you hear Murder Go Round from the almighty Ringmaster album. And like I talked about with the Juggler, kind of letting you know what the whole Wicked Clown theme was going to be on Carnival Carnage. As soon as you turned on Ringmaster, it picked up right from that sound. And a classic was made, Murder Go Round. That's my favorite cut off of the Ringmaster album. It has been since the first time I listened to the album. That was the one that immediately reached out to me. It's the one I played the most times whenever I was getting familiar with that album. It's the album I think of with the whole Ringmaster album. I mean, you even hear mentions of Murder Go Round and other horrorcore groups' raps. So I mean, it's become its own thing now. It's went from just an ICP song into a horrorcore tradition. And speaking of that, like I said, the Wicked Clownness just kept evolving and evolving for ICP, and as it evolved from Carnival Carnage, the Juggler, and then the Ringmaster sound, where you could tell they had this Wicked Clown thing just down, and they were really starting to perfect their craft of the whole Wicked Clown thing. Then the Riddle Box era emerged, and then music like this started to happen.
This is a Channel 7 news brief, because the news is happening now. Good evening, Mort Perkins reporting. Our top story tonight: police and investigators are still trying to figure out how and why somebody stole 4 dead bodies from the Wayne County morgue late Monday night. Police say the apparent body thief entered through the basement window. But how they eluded the security and alarm system is still a mystery. But what we at Channel 7 are wondering, what kind of sick fuck would steal 4 dead bodies anyway? Details at 11.
And there you hear the familiar chords of the one, the only Dead Body Man from Riddle Box. I think Riddle Box is pure perfection when it comes to what the Wicked Clown should sound like. Just that beat immediately kicks off. Surprisingly enough, you could say this didn't come from a Joker Cards first, because it came from Terror Wheel whenever they made the Terror Wheel sideshow for the Ringmaster album. Dead Body Man first appeared on that. It was the first time they really blew up locally in Detroit. It actually got some radio play, and once it got some radio play locally in Detroit, it hit and became the #1 song locally in Detroit on some radio stations locally there in Detroit for a couple months, and had a really good reign, so much so that people that early on, even before Riddlebox had dropped, had started saying ICP had sold out, which you still hear today, some almost 30 years later, people still trying to say that. But as soon as you hear Dead Body Man, you just immediately think of the Riddlebox era. It sounds like that whole album. Whenever I think of the Riddlebox album, I think of just this sound. It just sounds like underground Detroit wicked shit. I love it. I've probably heard this song 10,000 times. I've seen it damn near every time I've ever seen them in concert, and I still love Dead Body Man as a song. But what we'll do now is move it on from Dead Body Man, which is checking in at number 6 on the chart, and we'll move it on. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the end of album songs. Is already right off the bat, Unveiling and Nothing's Left made an appearance, and also If I Was a Serial Killer, which was the final song on the Tempest album. This is going to be another final song that's going to check in at number 5. It's going to be from Great Malenko, Pass Me By.
Does it not stagger the imagination? No builder on earth can conceive any structure to compare to the mansions above. Won't that be something when you go to live in your old mansion? There'll be no concern about paying for it. It's already taken care of. There'll be no worry of being moved out of it. It will be yours forever.
I got shot. The murder was heinous. The bullet went in my eyeball and out my anus. And I was hit, that was it. On the spot. Flash. I woke up in the parking lot. And I'm sitting in the 64 wine keys. With shaggy dope written on the car keys. I look around, I can't believe that it's possible. I'm dead and I made it to the carnival. I walk in, it's everything I dreamed of. Everybody and their mama got claw love. Japanese, Lebanese, and Chinese, Portuguese, and Southwest cattle cheese. Hanging out with redneck truck drivers instead of always giving each other pile drivers. I see my old homie, he died in the drag, chilling with 2 bitches. What up, shit? And he passed me a blunt like a tree trunk. I tried to hit it, but couldn't even fuck with it. In the dick, I always been afraid to die, but I ain't never going back to wonder why. We all gonna die, but I'm not gonna fry.
And there you hear Pass Me By, the final track from the 20-year-old now, which is just absolutely crazy to me. Great Malenko album. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of the closing tracks. And before I actually just start breaking down this actual track, and I'm going to save it because another final track is actually one that I have coming up on the list as we'll move from number 5, Pass Me By, into number 4, I'm Coming Home. There you hear I'm Coming Home, which closed out the epic Riddle Box, the 3rd Joker's card in the first deck. And I saved both of them because I just wanted to talk about how great I think the closing tracks traditionally are on ICP albums. I think they get overlooked a lot. There's always a ton of positivity and great messages in it. You always hear people that have any kind of negative things to say about ICP. If they would just talk positive, they could influence all these young kids that look up to them so much if they just talk positivity. You can go back and start looking at this song all the way to Pass Me By, Nothing's Left, Unveiling. They always save the last song on most of the Joker card albums to just be epic. And whenever I hear this song, whenever he's talking about the poisonous smog, it takes me back to my first ever trip to Detroit for Hallowicket 98 with the poisonous smog. I'd never seen it before, but there's literally is just a poisonous fog seeping out from the sewers of Detroit the entire time. It makes Detroit just seem that much more ominous and wicked around that time of the year at Hallowicket. But the closing tracks to me have always been ones that I just tend to bump more than the other tracks on the albums because it just gives you a good positive vibe. It's good music to put on, smoke some weed to.
Oh yeah, and like going back to Pass Me By for a second, it's like, yeah, I want to kill those redneck bigot fucks, definitely, absolutely, I want to chop the shit out of them. But at the end of the day, we really just kind of want to all get along and for them to just not be whack and for everybody to just be chilling, enjoying it, and that's what it's all about.
Just like the Let's Go All the Way video, what you were talking about whenever they're talking about being in Pleasantville, I think it was called in the video. It's got all the redneck dudes and they're getting along with everybody in the videos. You got the cops getting along with the thugs in the video. The thugs and the rednecks are dancing together. They're always promoting positivity. Like I've said from the entire run of this 20 and 17, the Juggalo world has had things locked down that the mainstream's still struggling to deal with and figure out to this very day. The Juggalo scene has had it locked down since 1992. We don't fuck with none of that racism shit. There's always love for everybody. If you've ever been to a gathering, everybody looks out for one another. But right now, we'll move it up from number 5 and 4, which were the closing albums and the positivity, into some real deal ICP classic Wicked Clown horror shit. It's 12. It's one of my favorite tracks ever by Insane Clown Posse, and that's why it's checking in at number 3. Mighty Riddle Box album, and just it's probably my favorite ICP song of all time. That's
definitely high up on the list.
The number 1 and number 2 songs kind of have like special meanings because it was the first Joker's cards I got into and the first songs I've heard. But number 12 is probably my favorite song. If I'm going to pick out one ICP song that I'm going to listen to, if I'm starting out with one ICP song to play to somebody that doesn't know what ICP is, it's going to be 12.
It's like the straight wicked shit right there. I mean, like, that's almost so wicked that it's almost beyond ICP wicked. Like, this ain't like clown shit right here. Like, this is some straight up horror movie shit. Like, this is good shit right here.
And I talked about earlier in the 20 and 17 podcast that it's the greatest mythology ever written, in my opinion. The first 6 Joker's cards. I think the way it took 10 years to complete it, nobody's ever done anything like it in music. I think it's the greatest mythology ever, and you could literally take this song and make a full-length feature horror movie about it. You could go into the story behind the guy that's doing the killing, why he was convicted, why those 12 people in the jury convicted him to die. Go into his death scene, go into him going to hell or wherever he's going to go and how he comes back. I want to watch that movie right now just talking about it. So some juggalo out there that's got them skills to be able to do that, to where you got them ninja skills I see out there with the superhero videos. Me and CPN was actually talking about the superhero battle videos me and you are always watching.
Superpower Beatdown.
We were talking about some juggalo needs to get some skills and figure out a way to do things like that, because those things are just super fresh. But what we'll do right now is move it on from number 3 into number 2.
What goes out to the ninjas? This big down since Carnival of Carnage. Nah, fuck that. Since Dog Beach. Nah, fuck that. Since Basement Clutch, motherfucker. How long will the juggalos be down with me? How long till they forget me? Check it out. What if I threw another fucking head and his name was Violent Ed? And he headbutt me every time I cussed. I would need 2 microphones when I bust. Would you show me love even with another head? Or would you be like, fuck you and there? Or what if I sold out like a bitch and took the makeup off and went soft? Called myself Detroit's Southwest lover and put my ugly ass face on the album cover. With R&B top 10 hit, and we had Jodeci singing all over our shit. Fuck that though, yo, I'm a juggalo, so don't forget me like you did with my new dog. What about when the world's like fuck us, kill us, what will you be? Duh. What about when I'm 103? What will you be? Duh. What about when the world's like fuck us, kill us, what will you be? Duh. What about when the carnival comes to your town? I'ma be down with the clown.
And there you hear Down with the Clown from the great Malenko album. And any juggalo that's hearing this right now, if you're still listening to ICP and you were listening to them that deep ago, that's pretty fucking awesome that you're still down with the Clown. That's 20 years that some of us have been listening to. And if you're still listening to them in 2017, I don't care if it's still 2 years that you've been down. I don't care if you jumped on whenever Marvelous Missing Link jumped on, or if you jumped on like Vinny the ICP Kid did during the Carnival of Carnage era, early Ringmaster era. I don't care if you're still listening to this program. This song is for you. It's for all of us that are still down with the Clown. It's for all of us that rep the Hatchet Man tattoos. We're down with the Clown till we're dead in the ground. We're always going to represent them. That's why it holds a special place in my heart. And just as soon as I heard the song, I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to get a tattoo, just so I could scream that I was down with the Clown till I'm dead in the ground. And pretty much less than 6 months after taking my first trip to Detroit, I had a Hatchet Man tattoo. It was from it's the cover of the Psychopathic Sampler 98 sampler CD. I've got that tattooed on my leg, and that pretty much was influenced by this very song. And I was very glad to be able to claim that I was going to be down with the Clown until I'm dead in the ground from that point moving on. But that's going to move us into the number 1 spot. Before I get into the actual number 1 spot, what I'll do is run down the top 17 ICP songs. In my opinion, this isn't no official poll or anything. This is just my opinion. Number 17, The Unveiling. Number 16, Nothing's Left. Number 15, In Yo Face. Number 14, If I Was a Serial Killer. Number 13, The Show Must Go On. Number 12, The Juggler. Number 11, The Stalker. Number 10, Take Me Away. Number 9, Assassins. Number 8, Mental Warp. Number 7, Murder Go Round. Number 6, Dead Body Man. Number 5, Pass Me By. Number 4, I'm Coming Home. Number 3, 12. Number 2, Down with the Clown. And checking in at the number 1 spot of all time, or at least the top 17, in my opinion, Insane Clown Posse tracks of all time, is the first track that I ever heard, Halls of Illusion.
Ticket, please, thanks. Walk through the doors into the halls of illusions. Visit yours and see what could've, it should've, it would've been real. But you had to fuck up the whole deal.
Let's take a walk down the hallway. It's a long way, it takes all day.
And when we get to the end, you'll find a chair with straps and chains. We slap you in there, lock you down tight so you can't move a thread, and pull your eyelids up over your head. Cause you're about to witness an illusionary dream. It's just too bad it ain't worth seeing. You watch GDC, 2 kids on the floor. They play Nintendo when he's got the high score. They sitting behind them, chilling in the chairs. And what when you look up, you ain't there. It's some other man in the hand-to-hand.
And there you hear the Halls of Illusion from the great Malenko album. It's, like I said, it's the first song that I heard fully. I've told the story about how I randomly caught Shockumentary on MTV when it aired late at night whenever Island had purchased the time, and then MTV aired Shockumentary live on MTV. I remember seeing Shockumentary, and whenever I got web TV, I was in an E-Fed Wrestling Federation, and there was some chick named Moon Miss Baby. I think it was Moon Miss Baby 25. But back in the day, whenever email was about the only way to talk to people, it was kind of the text message back in the day. People would soup up. Yeah, they would soup up their email. They would have backgrounds, they would have pictures in it, and they would have music playing. And this chick, Moon Miss Baby, had Halls of Illusion playing, and it was the first time I could literally sit down anytime I wanted to and listen to Halls of Illusion was to open up an email from Moon Miss Baby's E-Fed Wrestling Federation. And that's the song that got stuck in my head that made me go find out what was all about that band that I seen on that MTV documentary once I heard the actual song, because it also, and then I found out it had Slash on it. You talked about how you were influenced by Assassins, it sounded like the rock music you was listening to. I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan growing up. I guess that probably drew me in as well. I got to say, it's not my favorite song anymore. 12 is probably the one that I'm going to pick as my favorite song, but it's the most important to me because it introduced me to the Dark Carnival. So without it, I don't know if I'd have ever been into a Juggalo. I wouldn't have like 30 Juggalo tattoos. All the homies that I know in my life wouldn't be Juggalos that I met through Juggalos. All the chicks that I've liked for more than just their Neddens, I wouldn't have known them. Pretty much owe it all to this song right here. So how can it not be number one?
It doesn't get any more iconic than this song whenever you're talking about classic ICP. I mean, this is the track. You could say Hocus Pocus maybe, but as popular songs go, but I mean, like, this is ICP.
This video was awesome too. Talk about Shockumentary, bring it all kinds of comes back to Shockumentary as well. If you've got the VHS or the DVD or the new one that just released in the Malenko 20th anniversary, you get to see that video. The video was awesome. It was the most high-budgeted video ICP had at that point. It was a carnival ride, taking some abusive drunk redneck dude around to all the evils that he'd done in his life. Man, it was awesome. It was an ICP song come to life for the first time ever. Halls of Illusion, number one in the top 17 ICP songs of all time. And man, that was hard to do, to figure out the top 17 favorite ICP tracks of all time. Talk about an impossible task. I started the list because I'd planned on putting my top 17 ICP tracks on the 17th episode. So I started the list whenever I started doing the show way back around gathering time. And it's literally changed every time I've looked at it. Pretty much weekly when I've looked at it, I'll go in and make some changes. I made changes while I was writing the final list to make this list before I started downloading the songs to be able to play them on this very episode. But yeah, that's a damn near impossible task to try to list out your top 17 favorite Insane Clown Posse songs. But I'd love to hear it. If you want to hit me up on social media at 20and17 on Twitter, at 20and17 and on Instagram, and let me know your favorite 17 ICP tracks. And if you want to list out beside or after you get done listing them, why some of them, or list it that high, or whatever you want to do, or if you just want to write the 17 and not mention why they're listed, why they are, I'd love to hear from any of the Juggalos or Juggalettes about that. Always cool to hear. Another thing that was cool to hear in 2011, Insane Clown Posse finally started getting recognition, and like it always does, it starts locally in Detroit. For the Detroit Motor City Music Awards, they won the Distinguished Achievement Award in 2000.
Distinguished Achievement Award. Joe Bruce, Joey, a.k.a. Violent J, Shaggy Two Dope, a.k.a. The Insane Clown Posse.
my shit's always short, and these boys will talk like for hours and hours. But you know, like getting this award right here is pretty crazy for us, you know, because we first started coming up, we didn't know shit about the Grammys, we didn't know shit about nothing record industry, you know what I'm saying? We're just two kids that wanted to rap, you know what I'm saying? And that's the bottom line, you know? When we first started doing our thing, that's all we knew was these music awards. So for us to win a Distinguished Achievement Award, like, I don't know, I can't speak for these fellas, but to me, this is like better than a Grammy to me, you know what I'm saying? It comes from everybody in Detroit, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, the motherfucking house. Always. But I just want to thank everybody from Psychopathic who is on the grind every day, busting ass. Every single person in that office every day, grinding, you know what I'm saying? Then of course, you know, my kids, my girl, and then of course, these men up here, right here, Rich Morrell, has been in the studio with us since day one. Mike Clark, producer extraordinaire, unfuckwittable, this guy right here. I'm about to say some nasty shit, but that's my boy, man. Fastest hands in Southwest Detroit, DJ Clay, up in the house. And of course, my brother, man, beyond friendship. This man right here is my brother. I grew up with him. I'd probably be dead in jail, something. You know what I'm saying? I definitely wouldn't be standing up here getting this bad boy if it wasn't for that man right there. You know what I'm saying? That's my big brother right there. For life. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank everybody out here and everybody that voted or however the system works. You know what I'm saying? Thank you.
Oh shit, I don't have a speech. Oh my god. Yeah, I want to just thank everybody. I just don't know what to say. I've worked with a lot of people in the studio, and nobody can fuck with Insane Clown Posse. Thanks, Psychopathic Records. I mean, I just don't know what to say. Joe, take it.
Yo, one time right quick too, man, I don't even know how it slipped my mind, but Billy Bill, man, my other brother, Billy Bill, gotta give it up. I ain't know how it slipped my mind. That's my dog, that's my other brother, another mother.
Juggalos and juggalettes! This award's for you, because without you it wouldn't be possible, y'all. Thank you.
Yo, man, I've been with ICP as their DJ for the past 5 years now, y'all. And I can tell you this, I was 22 coming in the game, and I've learned everything that I know from these two right here and from Psychopathic Records over there. Jay and Shags, this is a much-deserved award through my eyes and through, I know, everybody's eyes out here. You guys deserve this shit, and I mean that with all my heart, and thank y'all for the opportunity to be y'all's DJ for as long as I've been.
You know, this is like a super fresh moment for us. It's the first time we ever won anything like this. I'm a little choked up, you know, because all night, all these awesome ass performers, this incredible talent, and just to be included, not just included, but given this award like this is really unreal for us, because through it all we really wanted to do was be included. know our product is different. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of cussing, and our shows are different. We don't play instruments. You know what I'm saying? But to be included in, you know, with all this great talent means everything, you know. And first and foremost, I think ICP is pretty fucking dope. But there's a difference between dope and magic. And I think the magic element comes in from the Juggalos. The Juggalos are what take us from dope to mythical in my eyes, and that's because the Juggalos are the real story. It's not so much what's going on stage as much as what's going on in the crowd. I think that's where the real magic comes in. And we dedicate this to the Juggalos, not only in Detroit, but everywhere. And we most definitely dedicate this also to Psychopathic Records. Sitting over there. Everybody from the Hatchet, stand up. That's right. That's our brothers and sisters over there. And, you know, I'll say this. I also thought about what I wanted to say, and I definitely want to send a shout out to the industry of yesterday. When we came up, there were record stores. You know, a band could press up 100 CDs, and they could drive around and drop 5 CDs off at every store, and come back a month later and pick up the money, you know, and take that money and order 500 CDs, and the rest is history. Well, the stores like that don't exist no more, you know, and we want to send a shout out to the stores of yesterday, man. The stores that are gone, you know. Record Time, Harmony House, you know, Hot Hits, that's right. When a kid comes up to us and asks us how to do it today, I really don't know what the fuck to tell them, you know, because there's no record stores no more, you know, so it's a whole new game. But the other thing is, you know, the first time we ever played the Detroit Music Awards, I believe, we came out and we did a song with Charm Farm in 1993. And we picked up one of the weeklies a couple days later, and the weekly said the Detroit Music Awards was awesome with the exception of ICP. They pretty much ruined the night, you know? And when we read that, we knew we were on the right path. Straight up. And to be getting this award, the Distinguished Achievement Award, you know, almost 20 years later, it only proves us right, man.
And there you hear ICP accepting their Distinguished Achievement Award at the 2011 Detroit Motor City Music Awards. Is awesome that they got love from their local Detroit. You know, they always appreciate it because that's probably where whenever they started to pop off nationally, whenever ICP started to pop off nationally is when they probably started to get the most hate in their city. So to see it to come all the way back full circle where Detroit's starting to be the one to show them love again first. Hopefully the Motor City Music Awards goes on up to every other music award they can get because ICP has put in enough work. They definitely deserve to start getting some recognition from more than just Juggalos at this point because they've schooled the music industry harder than anyone can school it. Look at the bands that were out whenever they came out with Dog Beats or Carnival Carnage. How many of those bands still put out music yearly? How many of those bands still have a yearly Hallowicked or festival for their fans? How many of those bands tour at least once a year? Pretty much none I can think of right offhand outside of maybe Pearl Jam, but they don't put out music that consistently. I can't think of any right offhand other than ICP that can make that claim that they do all those things. They also consistently stay relevant enough to where you see their merch on just people walking around in everyday life. You'll see the Hatchet Man. You still see the Hatchet Man sign at WWE, Raw, TNA, Ring of Honor, pay-per-views, things like that. they just stayed relevant for 30 years now. It's absolutely amazing, and it's definitely time that they start getting props for all that hard work that they've put in. But it's been awesome getting to run down all these artifacts of audio is what I've been calling them, that I've been able to find on YouTube, Angel Fire, Tripod, all those old school websites that somehow were still around and didn't get deleted whenever 95% of those sites got deleted, were still around for some reason. Maybe it was the Dark Carnival keeping them around so they could make this very documentary. I want to thank everybody that's listened to it. Before we close it out, I have some juggalos that I reached out to and asked them to put their thoughts about what being a juggalo means to them. So I'm going to get into that. But before I get into that, I'm going to actually start it off with myself. My name's Brandon Ward. I've been a juggalo since 1997. And what being a juggalo means to me, it means to do what you like. It doesn't mean that we don't care about others. We're not trying to hurt anyone whenever we say we do what we like and we don't give a fuck. It means do what you like, what you enjoy, and don't give a fuck what anybody else says. That's why guys like Coolio and Vanilla Ice are still cool to us. Old musicians like that were cool back in the day in 91 and people fall off of because they're no longer on the radio. Juggalos still love them. If we loved them in 91, we still love them in 2001. 2011 and 2021, 2099, we'll still love them. I'll still listen to Limp Bizkit and Korn to this very day. I don't have to have Carson Daly or some dude tell me that it's a popular and that's the right thing to be listening to at the time. Juggalos always walk to their own pace. They don't ever allow the mainstream to influence how we do things. I think that's the greatest thing about it. I think even looking, you don't even have to mention the music, just the attitude of the Juggalos, the do what you like, have fun, enjoy yourself, be kind to one another. And unless somebody fucks with you, there's no reason to not be kind to one another. And that philosophy has pretty much made it to where the gathering has went down now, and there's been no major incidents. The stabbing that went down was between hot dog vendors. There's been no fights when you got to think of how inebriated some of these people were. And a lot of those people at Cave and Rock, they weren't even juggalos that started showing up. So you gotta say 80% were juggalos, but there was another 20% that just showed up and partied and got rowdy, and they don't have the same mentality as we do, where we try to look at it as a family environment. There was a lot of assholes there at Cave and Rock once it started to pop and get popular of how fun of a party it was. But the 80% of the juggalos that were there overlooked that shit, didn't blow anybody's grill out that should been. The one incident that gets talked about a lot is whenever a car got torn up, but it was a car that was found to be in possession of stolen merchandise from other juggalos. I think that's pretty good juggalo justice. Nobody was injured, but they definitely proved their point that you shouldn't steal from juggalos, and I highly doubt anyone has fucked around with any tents and stowed anything since they seen that juggalos literally tore a car apart and then dragged it to the main stage from a thief that was stealing from them. But honestly, that's what being a juggalo means to me. Just do what the fuck you like and don't give a fuck what anybody else has to say about it. And another thing that I wanted to say is I heard a lot of hate whenever talking about things that we've always liked that we don't have to be told about by the mainstream to like. The Joker, whenever Jared Leto was the Joker, I seen a ton of mainstream people and all the people that picked up on the Joker whenever Heath Ledger did it, and now they're all of a sudden Joker fans. They're like, ooh, this Jared Leto looks like a juggalo. Yeah, fuck you. Juggalos have been rolling with the Joker since hell, I've been rocking the Joker since '89. It's built into us. That's what Joker. We've been rolling with the Joker for years, way before you needed to do that shit. So way before you thought it was cool, the Juggalos were rocking the Joker. We didn't need Heath Ledger or anyone to tell us it was cool. The Juggalos have been rocking the Joker for fucking decades. So it was mad for us that people were saying the Joker looked like a Juggalo and they were getting pissed off by it. I like more than the actual performance from Jared Leto. And now I'm going to let some other Juggalos talk about their opinion and their feelings on the Dark Carnival.
Hey, what's going on? This is Timmy, a.k.a. Echo Side Fiend. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I have been down with the clown since August of 1995. What being a Juggalo means to me is pretty much just being myself and having fun, you know? There's a lot of things that I love about being a Juggalo. For one, I love collecting the music. I love collecting the merchandise. There's all kinds of cool stuff to collect. I like making trades with people, going online and finding stuff, going on eBay, just going to the store the day that it's released and picking up the new albums. I love that. I love going to Hollow Wicked and getting the new single that they give out every year. And then as far as just in the Juggalo community, I love it all. I love the camaraderie among the fans. I made several long and lasting friendships just that started literally just from our mutual love of Insane Clown Posse and the Juggalo culture. Some of my best friends literally to this day started by just being both fans of the music, and I've got a lot of friends still that I got into the music with. A lot of them have fallen away, but a lot of them are still around, you know. I love that. And then as far as after that, beyond all the fun and the friendship, it also, a lot of their messages in their music, you know, reaffirmed to me that I'm on the right side of a lot of issues. You know, I'm against racism, I'm against homophobia, obviously against domestic violence, all that kind of stuff, you know. And when I got into ICP, when I was 18 years old, I had already come to the conclusion that that stuff was not good. I was already like well past the fact that I knew racism was bad, you know, domestic violence, whatever. You know, I knew all that stuff was bad. I'd already come to those decisions, but to hear a band that I was now getting into and looking up to and respecting, to hear them put the same messages in their music just furthered that I knew that I had made the right decision. And that means a lot to me, to hear the messages in their music that identify the same you know, things that are within me. You know, that means a lot. So that's one many reasons, actually, I should say, that I'm still listening to them to this day, 22 years later, and I'm still just as big of a fan as I was from the first day I heard them. So that pretty much does it. Thanks for including me in this. Whoop whoop.
What up? Roscoe of FagoLovers.net. I've been down since 1998. What does being a juggalo mean to me? Being a juggalo to me means not giving a fuck, not worrying about any form of judgment, and just fucking being comfortable with who you are. Talking how you want to talk, looking how you want to look, acting how you want to act, and just being comfortable with that shit. Now, on the episode of Tosh Point Out, Tosh asked the Juggalo Kid, he says, now, when you say be who you are, you mean like paint your face? The Juggalo Kid says, whatever you want. Well, it turns out we've all come together because of a shared love of the same music, and a lot of us do want to paint our face. We want to become this character. We feel way more comfortable being together in this family atmosphere than we do being outside of that family atmosphere. Knowing what that feeling is, that to me is what a juggalo is all about. That to me is what it means to be a juggalo.
All right. I'm on the way home back to Jersey from Hallowicked, and I'm about to answer these questions. My name's Ant Sereno, short for Anthony. I've been down since. I feel like I've been down since birth, but it took me a long time to actually self-identify as a juggalo, not because of embarrassment or shame or something stupid like that, but just because of my natural progression. I was played 3 rings by a friend when I was 15 and fell in love instantly. I spent the next 15 years listening to ICP's albums and artists, seeing their movies, videos, and wrestling, wearing their merch, enjoying a Fago when I could, and defending juggalos to anyone who talked shit. When asked if I was a juggalo, my answer was no, because I just didn't feel I displayed the level of devotion necessary to be one, and like many of us, my shit was so deep, I didn't feel like I truly belonged anywhere, even with the juggalo family. I definitely loved the material, but I never felt that spark that every juggalo feels when it all clicks. That is, until I finally seen the Wicked Clowns live. It all finally made sense that night. I walked out of that show a juggalo, and I ain't never looking back. What does being a juggalo mean to me? It's similar ideals, morals, values, and mindsets. It's brotherhood, sisterhood, fellowship, and family, drawn together by extreme identification with one another. But it's bigger than that. It's realer than real, punker than punk rock, harder than hardcore, more underground than the underground, ultra hated by people who don't understand it, but mirror crystal diamond clear to those of us who do. It's like Rocky Horror, where all the freaks go at midnight to feel understood and accepted. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous, where all the addicts go and find comfort and strength in a room full of people who think and act just like them. It's like church, where the church folks go to throw up their hands and feel the peace of putting their faith on the word that says everything's going to be fine. But it's still bigger than all those things. It's more pure than those things because it wasn't made for those reasons. It's more real than all those things because it was made by two scrub clown homies who had no idea it would become what it possibly became. It grew naturally, like the biggest butterfly. It bloomed organically, like the most beautiful lotus flower. The clowns spoke the message, and the juggalos heard it, pure and clear. The seed was planted, and it grew and grew. It surpassed fan base and became family. It morphed and mutated, unplanned and without warning, into the biggest, wickedest, and most insanely fun and magical support group for the disenfranchised, marginalized, used and abused who had lived hard lives or who never ever felt like they fit in anywhere or with anyone, or who just thought differently than anyone else they knew. Ultimately, we the juggalos turned the juggalo world into what it is. No one told us to come here. We all heard the message of the Dark Carnival, felt it, and followed it. Not because someone told us what we were or what we needed, but because we truly identified with the content and therefore with each other. And that's the core and the miracle of the Juggalo family to me. You couldn't build a fan base like this if you tried, and I'm sure many people have. Nothing this real, natural, and magical has ever happened before, and it never will again. And I'm so grateful to be alive right now to experience it and all its excellence with my worldwide Juggalo family. Thank you, and much clown love. Woo woo.
What up, y'all? This is DC Fago Guy. I've been down with the clowns since 2002. What does being a Juggalo mean to me? It means a lot. I think it's important, though, to keep the core meaning of being a fan of the Insane Clown Posse. And yet, for so many Juggalos, there's so many different meanings that has. There's no way to carry one simple meaning. For me, it's a very big part of my life. I wake up in the morning, I roll over, I kiss Megs, my juggalette. When I get on my phone, I check the Carnival Spirits chat to see what my Juggalo homies have been saying. I check Fago Lovers to see if there's any new news popping off first thing in the morning. And when I get on with my day, I'll randomly get different Insane Clown Posse and Juggalo related songs stuck in my head. Different things that help get me through my day. I brainstorm different ideas for making YouTube videos, something I'm very passionate about, as being a Juggalo is something I'm very passionate about. So I think being a Juggalo is being a fan of the Insane Clown Posse, but there's no way to ever carry that one true meaning. It's so many different meanings. And for me, it's being passionate about being a Juggalo. it's passionate about being a fan of the Insane Clown Posse. And being that fan of the Insane Clown Posse has brought me so many things into my life and given me such an awesome life that I'm thankful to be a part of.
My name is Vincent James Monaster, aka Vinny the ICP Kid. I've been down since, 17 years ago, plus 10 years ago, minus 2 years ago. Being a Juggalo, to me, means being unique, fresh, skillful, tactful, honorable, respectful, loyal. A true pleasure and an honor to call myself a Juggalo. We are the few. We are the proud. We are the fresh.
Holy fuck, I didn't even listen to those because I didn't want to be influenced from what they were saying into what I was going to lead into by doing mine first. Those blew me away, so shout out to all the homies that took their time out to do those. Those were awesome. I hope Violent J and Shaggy gets to hear those. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll check them out whenever they see them on Fago Lovers. You'll probably bring a tear to their eyes. Those were very well done. That was pretty much the definition of 17 and right there, my friends, and that was fucking awesome. I can't think of a better way to wrap up this series, as it's been a pleasure and an honor being able to pretty much have a time capsule and a time machine to go back and go in the past 20 years with a fine-tooth comb of ICP and break it down. It just really makes me appreciate just how lucky I am to have found Insane Clown Posse. I've talked about how I do Homer's Radio now. I have my own business that me and 2 other homies run. One of the homies that I run it with is named Steve Turner. My roommate is Roger Turner. Without being roommates with Roger, Homer's Radio would have never happened, because we started out the Homer's Radio in this house we have, where we have an extra bedroom to where we can set up a studio. So without that would have never happened. And of course, how do I meet Roger Turner? In 2000, my homie Mooch, named the Ringmaster Mooch because he's been down since the Ringmaster, much clown love to Mooch, whoop whoop. Me and him and our homie Bert Moss, who's also a hardcore juggalo since I think it was 97, 96 era, we were moving Mooch into an apartment building. And earlier in the day, I had a backyard wrestling ring in my parents' backyard, and we had a backyard wrestling match, and we painted up our faces. I was Shaggy, I think. Jay was Mooch, and Bert was rocking the brand new Twisted face paint look. And after that, we went and moved our homie Mooch into a new apartment. And this 14-year-old dude who had recently been turned on to the Insane Clown Posse by his brother Steve Turner sees these dudes who look like Insane Clown Posse moving in. He goes up and starts talking to us. We find out he's a juggalo. He's into wrestling as much as we are. Within 10 minutes, he's our homie. He started backyard wrestling with us. He went on to wrestle at the Evansville Coliseum with us, work with New Jack. Got to be on shows with Sabu. Still my homie to this day. You heard him earlier in this program. So it just pretty much all the freshness that I have been able to experience through any kind of entertainment value or anything like that that's non-family related all comes from the juggalo world. And I've got to give props to my mom and dad, because whenever they seen this crazy band named Insane Clown Posse, whenever their 18-year-old son wanted to jump on a Greyhound bus and go to Detroit on Devil's Night, if you know how infamous Devil's Night is in Detroit, and they seen the positivity and just how I was so into this band. And honestly, I got to send a big shout out to Vinny, the ICP kid, and his dad for being such a positive role model / influence during Shockumentary. I think my parents seeing Vinny and how normal he pretty much seemed exactly like me on Shockumentary, same age area, same look, almost looked like he grew up in the same neighborhood. His dad, same age as my dad. So whenever I think they seen how just a normal kid like Vinny and how his dad supported ICP and took them to ICP shows, they were supporting me to be able to go to Detroit. So just mad clown love all around. And if Violent J and Shaggy and Rob Jumpsteady gets left out a lot, man, that dude has done so much to make the Juggalo world go. Put together the Gathering. Definitely check out the Juggalo show that he does on Psychopathic TV to hear all just the fresh stuff that he does. They did some kind of top 10 Juggalo moments in history, and he broke out a ton of awesome stories. A story about how he ninja tacted his way into getting a backstage pass with the intent of blowing out Eminem's grill live on the Video Music Awards on MTV back in the day when the Eminem ICP beef was popping off. So just mad props to him, and Alex, of course, for sacrificing back in the day and taking a chance for getting behind two white guys with clown paint that threw Fago at people and putting his actual real money behind it. Billy Bill, all the Psychopathic ninjas has worked hard. Twisted, got to give a shout out to them because they made this Juggalo thing keep going on and on. They added even more flavor to it. No hate here for me, for Twisted, Blaze, Boondocks, anybody that's ever repped the Hatchet. Dark Lotus, love all that. Still love the Psychopathic Riders. And I want to say to ICP, I've noticed coming into this episode where I've looked at a lot of interviews, and I always hear ICP mention how it weighs on them so heavily where all these people have their faces or their album covers or the Hatchet Man tattooed on them, and they got to live up to such an expectation. They think they have to live up to the expectation of these peoples. And I just want to say, homies, chill out. Don't worry about that. Y'all are good, man. You don't have to do a damn thing for us. When we decided to get the tattoos on us, that was the show. Y'all props. Once we decided to get the tattoos, y'all had done enough. You didn't owe us anything from that point forward. It was the show you props and our appreciation because we felt like we owed you that. It's been an awesome time, and I can really think of no better way to end it than all that positivity right here on 20 in 17. And we're back one final time on 20 in 17. And you got to have the man, the myth, the legend, if we're doing anything with Fago lovers involved. We got the one and only Scottie D on the line. He's going to let all the Juggalos know how exactly he's been 17 in 20 and 17. Scottie, how you doing, man?
Hey, man. This has been a hell of a year. I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
Great, man. Been 17.
Man, absolutely. When Violent J said that we were going to have a hell of a year this year for 17, man, he was not kidding. It has been one of the best years to be a Juggalo ever, and the saying, the 20-year Juggalo veteran. but yeah, like it's been hell on my pocketbook, bro. I had 5 weeks vacation at the beginning of the year, and I'm down to 0 days, 0 hours. So. And most of that was spent juggling. So yeah,
absolutely
craziness.
Awesome. I mean, I know it started off. It usually starts off with Juggalo Day and also the dark. Did you make it to DCG as well?
I did. Made it to the first annual DCG Cup. Well, it started with New Year's Evil. I was at New Year's Evil in Columbus. So that was my first official event of the year. Then we went to Juggalo Weekend in Florida. DCG Con. I'm trying to think. I can't forget about this either, man. I was really heavily involved in a movie that's coming out called. Well, they haven't officially publicly said it, but it's about Juggalos in the Gathering, and it's a heavily Juggalo influence. And it's going to star the one of the ladies from Orange Is the New Black, the lady that plays Piper.
Yeah.
And so I was heavily involved in putting a kind of a mock gathering together in Atlanta.
Oh, sweet.
So I put all that together at the beginning of the year, and that happened in March. So I took a few days off of work for that, coordinated that, and it went off without a hitch. And so the next event was DCG Con, and then I think we jumped forward to maybe the Gathering.
I believe
so. I'm trying
so.
to think if there's anything between DCG Con and the Gathering, and then. 3 weeks after the Gathering, it was the Carmelo Carnage show, which was, listen, guys, I don't know. I know that there was a lot of skepticism about the $250 price tag, but that was one of the best ICP shows I've ever been to. I don't know, call it nostalgia or whatever, but being right next to Vinny the ICP kid while he's seeing his first Joker's card live again and just rocking the fuck out with him, it was incredible.
Yeah, and you could tell.
And then
you could tell just from the videos that they had really taken that one seriously to make sure that they had that album down. And Trey Pound as well schooled it.
Yeah, Trey, man, I got to give Big Guy huge props. I've actually been working on a review of that, and it's been like 90% done. I've just been lazy and haven't completely finished it off.
Oh, sweet.
I just had a lot of other shit going on.
So you got a review, almost like the Gathering reviews. Then I always look forward to those.
Yeah, yes, sir. So that'll be coming hopefully very soon. I really just have to have a couple of odds and ends to tie up. And then 3 weeks later after that, we have the Juggalo March. And, man, I've been to a lot of Juggalo events this year and over my lifetime. And having the Juggalo March and Carnival of Carnage within 3 weeks of each other, those are, I would say, probably definitely two of my top 5 Juggalo events ever.
That's what I was going to say.
I would go so far as to say,
I don't think anyone would argue that they're 2 top 10 ever in Juggalo history events, and they went down within a month of each other.
Oh, right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's 17
yeah,
right
absolutely. There. Yeah, no doubt, brother. And then we just wrapped it up with the Hallowicked a couple weeks ago.
I haven't really heard much of a review of Hallowicked. What did you think of the new merch? I'm really into the Hallowicked merch. What did you think of the new merch that they broke out for Hallowicked?
Oh man, Tom Wood fucking killed it, and Shane Murphy did some incredible work too.
Yep.
I'm not sure who else was involved, but that Tom Wood merch, man, was all of the classic monster renditions of the Joker's card.
Yeah, those were awesome, and the Franken Man, the Hatchet Man into the Frankenstein, that was badass too.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people were pissed off about Juggalo collectors who go back home and flip everything and make a buck over it, but I wasn't given any special privilege. I got up there, I got all my sizes in each of the design shirts, and I don't think anything was sold out except for the orange Malenko shirt, which I really wanted. But
that traditionally happens with any kind of shirt like that, though. I was telling Vinny the story about me not being able to get a Malenko 98 Hallowicked whenever I was talking to him on this episode. But the events that you went to this past year, it's crazy. What we've said is what they've put together in 2017, and what are you expecting in 2018 going further with Red Fred, of course, is what everybody's speculating on. What are you looking forward to in 2018?
Well, man, I'm hopefully looking forward to a few less events because I don't think I could handle going to all of them this next year, but I don't know when they're planning on. I'm going to just speculate and say they're going to do a gathering release for the Joker's card.
That's what I was thinking too.
I think that makes the most. I think that makes the most sense.
He did say it would be 2018 in your interview with him, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
He did.
Sweet.
I have no doubt it'll be next year, but I mean, I don't know how far they are with it, but I was really happy to see Mike Clark at the at Hallowicked.
Absolutely, I said it on this. As soon as I seen it on this podcast, I was like, that is a very good sign.
Absolutely, man. So that I love everything that's come out. I'm a fan of the second deck. Not so much Found. I'm sorry, man. I'm not really a religious, spiritual person, but Lost was dope, I think. I think there's enough anger and enough shit that's gone on this past year that I think we're going to get another Angry Joker's card. That's kind of what I've been looking for.
I think so too. I think that's what we're all waiting for, expecting to hear, and just what they've been putting out this year, the singles and videos that they've dropped, and even up to this past Cypher they just released, and the tracks that they put on the Hallowicked 17 album. It just seems like they've stepped their game up. It seems like it's no jokes. Somebody has woken up the sleeping giant because they're on Spinal Tap 11 ready to fire, and that's why I think all the Juggalos are just wait. I haven't seen this much speculation for a Joker card since the original 6th Joker's card.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Like everybody is, I mean, from FTFOMF, I mean that was.
Oh man, that's still in my CD player.
I think that's album of the year, man.
That's still in my CD player right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's still probably my album of the year, and I know that's pretty high praise, but I don't know if anything's topped it yet this year. But no, as far as next year, I'm planning on hanging up both Astronomicon and Juggalo Weekend, and then we'll go to DCG Con again and see where the gathering's at, and we'll see what happens from there.
Before I let you get out of here, I want to talk about the future of Psychopathic Records with Ouija and Light both coming out this year at 17 and really starting to make their name for yourself. What do you think of the two newest members of the Hatchet Man that you've heard from?
Well, I saw Light on the Riddlebox tour whenever I hit it in Austin last year, and he was super hype. I mean, this is before he got signed.
Yeah,
and he was like extremely hype. Like man, I really want to be on this label. And so I was like, man, you killed it up there. And I think you got a spot, if you want it. But and it happened. So I'm really happy for him. And he's always been super gracious and humble. So I'm happy that it's working out for him. Ouija, I knew a little bit from Flagtooth. I wasn't a big fan of like all the auto-tune shit that they use.
Yeah.
You could tell that they had talent, but the auto-tune was just too much for me. But the stuff from this last Cypher, he really impressed me. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to see what they got. Got coming, for his solo album.
That's pretty much exactly how I felt. I wasn't really into the sound of Swagtooth so much, but what I heard on the Cypher and then on Dead Body Man 3 as well, I'm definitely interested in seeing what he's going to sound like coming out with a full Psychopathic album. Scottie D, I want to thank you for joining us here on 20 and 17. It's the only way that I wanted to close out this program. Thank you, sir.
Man, Brandon, thank you so much for putting this together. I have been more of a fan than you probably realize of it. I look forward to it every week, and I'm sorry to see that it's ending, but I think that we'll have some more projects with each other soon. So
appreciate it, brother. Much clown love.
All right, much love, brother. Woo woo.
Look, I'll tell you like this. Insane Clown, mark my words, Insane Clown Posse is the greatest band to ever step foot on any stage in the history of mankind. We are the greatest, bottom line. Kiss bit the whole makeup thing from us. Alice Cooper, he's a fucking Violent J wannabe. You know what I'm saying? The whole fucking outfit. Everybody out there bit their shit from us. We're the greatest. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is the fans, do they have fun in the crowd? Come to an ICP show and tell me fans don't have fun in the crowd. I don't know about LA. We haven't really hit LA that hard yet. Come to a show in the Midwest. Come to a show in Denver or Phoenix, something like that. Tell me if those kids is having fun or not. That's the bottom line, right? And we are the greatest band. I'm the greatest musician to ever step foot on the earth we live on. And I don't even play an instrument. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that we are the greatest thing because we are powered by the dark carnival.
ICP fans are the best fans in the world. Juggalos are in the house. They're crazy. They'll grab you by your face and slam your fucking head into the wall for no reason. They're fresh. Juggalos are no joke. Juggalos run the world. Hey, I'm a bigger fan of our fans than a fan of us. You know what I'm saying?